My name is Matwire, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in July 2007. I had always gotten mammograms every year since my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1981. So I started getting mammograms at the age of 23. When I was diagnosed, I felt the lump in my breast. I was coming up from my mammogram, and I called my gynecologist and said, I think I have something going on with my breast. He said, sure, sent in for my mammogram orders, and I had the mammogram, and from that point I did a biopsy. Dr. Rupley did the biopsy. When I got it back, I was very nervous because in my gut I felt like I had breast cancer. It's just a feeling that I think a lot of women have, and I sure had that feeling. He called me in, and he and I met, and it was at that point that he held my hand and he said, I'm sorry. He was very gentle. He said, let's just examine the breast and we can go from there. I knew at that point I was going to have a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. I just wanted the cancer out, and I think a lot of women feel that way. I went to breast surgeons, and they gave me a bilateral mastectomy. Before I had that done, actually, I went to Turo, and Dr. Rupley had recommended Scott Sonnier as my oncologist. Love Dr. Sonnier to death. Very personable. He made me feel very comfortable. He answered all of my array of questions. It was at that point that Dr. Sonnier said to me, well, Flay, it's going to be 8 rounds of chemotherapy. So he said, after you're healed from your bilateral mastectomy, we will start your chemotherapy treatments. And I saw him every 15 days. I had chemo. I just did different things in chemo. I dressed up in different outfits because I wanted to, for a sad occasion for some people, I wanted it to be happy. So I did all my chemo. I'm fine. My hair grows back. Almost 6 years to the day, I feel something in the same breast. It was very small, the size of a pea, of course. Then I had another biopsy done by Dr. Rupley, and he said again, your cancer's back. It was at that point I said, okay, I'll just handle it. I had a lumpectomy, and then he said, are you going to go back to Dr. Sonnier? I said, of course. I went back to Dr. Sonnier. He recommended I see a radiation oncologist this time because I didn't have to have radiation because I had what they call new breasts the first time I had cancer. So my cancer came back. This was in 2013 now, July 2013. He said, I think you should meet with Dr. Zacharis, Ellen Zacharis. Love her to death. I cried when I met with her. She hugged me, held me tight, said, we're in this together. You're not alone. You know that. You don't walk alone. She said, after she did all her testing, she said, it looks like you're going to do 33 rounds of radiation standard every day. I did my 6 rounds of chemo, and here I am. I have all 2 doctors, and I love them all, and I wouldn't have it any other way. They stay on top of everything, which I really appreciate. I know I'm not their only patient, but to be honest, I feel like I am. God doesn't give you more than you can handle, and I feel like I'm not jinxing myself, but if my cancer came back, and I know that's always a possibility, I have the best doctors. I'll deal with it, and they'll deal with me with it. I am definitely more than a survivor. I am a caregiver. I give to everybody I can possibly give to. I'm a hardworking woman. I work hard with my job. I love my job. I love being around people. I love people. I feel like I was put on this earth to help people. I always say positive thoughts bring positive results, and that's what I had.